Good evening from Murcia, Spain, in the U.S. Men's National Training Camp as we prepare for the final preparation match ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup when we will take on Saudi Arabia. We're joined by the head coach of the U.S. Men's National, Gregg Berhalter, and following Gregg will be Kellyn Acosta and DeAndre Yedlin. If you'd like to get in a queue to ask a question, you can do so now, and we will begin with Stephen Goff from the Washington Post.
Hey, Gregg, thanks for your time. Given the result of the other day, given the performance of the other day, and the fact that we're at the end of the match schedule heading into a World Cup, what would you like to see, or what do you need to see from this team collectively tomorrow against Saudi Arabia?
Well, again, I think it was a poor performance from us, and we got our butts kicked, and we're not proud of it. We think we should have played much better. We could have played much better, and we didn't. So, we want to play better this game, and I think it starts with the collective. Us playing together, more cohesive, and if we do that, we'll be fine.
Great, thanks.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, Gregg. Just to follow up a bit, what exactly in rewatching and analyzing the game, what stood out to you in terms of the reasons that you guys were so unable to solve their high press? And then the second part, I think a lot of us watching that game, it felt a lot like the 2019 friendly against Mexico, just in terms of your guys' inability to deal with the high press. Do you feel like there's any similarities there? Obviously the context's different, but just in what happened on the field?
I don't love that narrative, Henry, and the reason why I don't is because it wasn't a high press by Japan. It was a aggressive mid-block pressing that caused us problems, and we turned the ball over carelessly. There was opportunities to play, and there was free men to play to. And we didn't identify those men, and we suffered for that. But it wasn't something that we're carelessly trying to play through 7 or 8 guys of pressure, and we're unsuccessful, and they're coming down our throat. It was just making some bad decisions. And having said that, we're not happy with that. But we had an off game. Again, I can't say it clearly enough. We played poorly. Coaching staff takes responsibility for that, and we move on. We move on for the next game, and we try to have a better game.
Next will be Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Thank you, Michael, and hey, Gregg. One of the things that appears you told everyone this morning is that Christian is going to start and play in this game, and that he is healthy and ready to go. What are the things that you want to see from him, going into this game? Obviously we're getting to the point where it's almost World Cup time, and everybody kind of needs to be where they are. Given everything that's gone on with him, and given his health, and given the players that you're going to have around him, what are some of the things you're going to want to see Christian do?
Just let him be Christian. Be Christian. He does a great job of changing the game in moments, and that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to do anything more than he's done in the past. Just needs to continue to play, our game, and he does that really well. So, he just needs to be himself. He'll be fine.
Next will be Charlie Bowman from MLSsoccer.com.
Hey, Gregg, following up on what Henry mentioned, in terms of the build-ups and dealing with the opposition, whether it's pressing or, however you want to phrase it, I want to ask your view on the center backs, and particularly the relationship with the central midfielders in terms of what didn't work on Friday that maybe you want to see improvement in tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just decision-making. Identifying who the free man is, and identifying where the pressure's coming from, and then exploiting that. And that's something we didn't do a great job of. We worked on it. We've talked about it. We'll analyze it. We'll show some video tonight. But again, I think we can do a better job of that. And it's one thing that I don't want us to lose track of is that it is a young team. And at this moment, anytime in the last camp before the World Cup, there's stress involved, and there's outside factors that affect performance. And I think we should at least acknowledge that and say that the guys were tense in this game, And, it's our job as coaches to put them at ease and help them perform, and that's what we're focused on.
Next will be Michael DeCourcy from the Sporting News.
Yes, Greg, thanks. I wanted to ask you about Ricardo Pepe. I believe we've been given to believe he will start tomorrow night, and I wanted to find out what you wanted to see from him in this game and what you think it can do for him going forward toward November.
It's really hard to answer what I want to see from guys, because I think there's roles and responsibilities that they have related to the team performance, and that's what we're focused on. Again, it's not. I don't need him to score 5 goals tomorrow. We need him to play like a forward in our system, and hopefully he gets opportunities, and hopefully he takes the opportunities well. But again, it's stuff that he's done before for us, and confident he can do it tomorrow.
Next will be Sanjay.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Greg. Greg, just following up about Ricardo. What have you seen from him in training, and his attitude and mindset since the move to the Netherlands, and what your conversations have been like with him making that move, and how he just seems on and off the field now since the move? Thanks.
He's been great. He's been lively, confidence. He has this brightness in his eyes. He's ready to perform. And it's good to see that. I know that it hasn't been easy for Rico in the last months, and it's good to see him have a different demeanor. So really excited for him tomorrow.
We'll go to Jake Landau.
Hey Greg, hope you're doing well.
Hey Jake.
I just wanted to ask about the learning objectives from this game against Saudi Arabia, and do you see them as a team that's similar to any of the opponents in the World Cup?
I don't really see them similar to the opponents in our group, but it's a cohesive team. Most of the players in the starting lineup will be from 2 clubs, so we know that gives them cohesion. They're an athletic team. They won their group in Asian qualifying, and Japan was in their group. So it's a strong team, and it's going to be a difficult game. And we're looking forward to it because, it's another team in the World Cup, and it's another measuring stick. And we fell short against Japan. We're hoping to rise to the task against Saudi Arabia.
Next will be Robert Bullard.
Hi, Greg. I just wanted to ask you, this is the final game. I just wonder, in the context of the World Cup, do you know what your starting 11 is in your mind's eye for the game against Wales on November the 21st?
In my mind, in a perfect world, is that what you're asking me? Yeah, ideally in a perfect world, I have it in mind. But one thing I know is that, that's not international soccer. So, do I think we have the best players in each position identified? Yes. Do I think they're all going to be available for the start of the World Cup? I don't know. And that's just what every international manager will be dealing with right now. We'll be holding our breaths, hoping that that's the case. But even in this camp, we're missing 5 starters. So, it just is what it is, and you got to roll with it. And you can't use it as an excuse. And what you need to do is give the players that are here confidence instead of worrying about the players that aren't here.
And we are back with Kellyn Acosta and DeAndre Yedlin. If you'd like to get in queue to ask a question, you can virtually raise your hand now. And we will begin with Stephen Dunn from the Washington Post.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. DeAndre, question for you. Obviously this is a friendly, but it's the last test before World Cup. And given the performance and given the result from the other day, what's the urgency? What's the importance of putting in a good shift and gaining some momentum for World Cup?
Yeah, I think it's always important to try and put in a good shift. We obviously want to win, but the most important thing is that we work and build on what we can from the other night, and just as a group, just continue to stay cohesive.
DeAndre, what Christian missed the game the other day. What are your observations of Christian? His mood, his eagerness to get on the field. Gregg's already said he will start tomorrow. Just want to get a sense of where things stand with your teammate Christian going into this match.
Yeah, I mean, he's motivated. I mean, Christian's a guy that's always motivated. He always wants to play. And he's a very important member of this team. So, for us, it'll be very good to have him back. Obviously when he does well, it's better for us. So, like I said, we'll be happy to have him back.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, guys. Question for either of you, I guess. In the 48 hours since the Japan game, how much time have you guys spent, or I guess more than 48 hours now, how much time have you guys spent going back and analyzing what maybe you guys did, what I know neither of you played in the game, but what the team didn't do well enough, or how much time has just been spent looking forward at Saudi Arabia and the World Cup opponents?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of both. Obviously, we had to look back at the game and look at some things that we need to fine tune. But the name of the game is just rest and recover. Because a few days later, we play against Saudi Arabia. And so, I mean, after we reviewed the film, now it's like all our eyes are on Saudi Arabia and implement our tactics and our system and, kind of just bounce back from the result on Friday.
Next will be Brendan Plone.
And this one's for you. You've been in camp with Sam for the first time since November, and while both of you guys have moved away from the Rapids, just what have you seen together, since the start of the camp, and what's it like training with him again?
Yeah, no, it's great being back with Sam. I mean, he's a great dude off the field and on the field. He has a lot of great qualities, and I've seen his growth. He's grown tremendously over the time that we played back at the Rapids. So, I mean, just continuing with that. I mean, he's been very good, and I'm hoping that he continues on that path.
Our next question comes from Andrew Jones.
Please, MK, for both Kellyn and DeAndre. First, Johnny and Christian, they had their birthdays during this whole period. I was talking with Weston and Tyler the other day, and Johnny had a good speech, is what they said. Did you guys do anything for him in terms of like a birthday chant for him, or just a quick birthday talk with him in team meetings? And how was the bike stroll that you all had yesterday? You had a fun bike stroll that you had yesterday or on Saturday in Murcia. Talk about that as just the team bonding moment there.
So I mean, for Johnny, no, he just gave a speech. That's pretty typical. When it's a guy's birthday, usually bring out a cake for them or whatever, and then they'll give a speech. And it's obviously really his kind of first time speaking in front of the group. But he's great English. Said some great things. It was nice and easy. And then the bike show is good. I mean, just keep everything positive here. There's no reason to get negative. Little things like that just help the group stay together, have fun, and then look forward to the game.
Our last question comes from Stephen Goff.
DeAndre, Ed mentioned that maybe the expectation or the pressure of the moment being the last game of camp and of the World Cup build-up, it might have some impact on some guys and might have affected performance the other day. Do you sense with the group that players are recognized or are cognizant of what's at stake for them personally and also in the big picture for the team preparing for World Cup?
I mean, I think naturally, guys could be nervous. I think naturally guys are gonna know what's at stake. But at the end of the day, it's making sure everybody realizes that this is a team. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when the team performs well, everybody does well. So as long as you're doing everything you can for the team, then most likely you're gonna put in a good performance. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just how it is. We all love each other here, and we're all trying to obviously make this team. It's it's down to crunch time now. So like I said, obviously guys, can have anxiety or whatever about making a squad, but we just need to do what's best for the team.